Hello, everybody. Welcome back to our subject in Readings in Philippine History. We're still in our chapter 4, the social, political, economic, and cultural issues in Philippine history. Okay, so this will be the last discussion for the um. Wait, ayun. This will be the last discussion for the chapter 4, no? This topic is all about the fiscal policy from 1946 until present. So now let's proceed for our discussion on fiscal policies from 1946 to present. So here we'll be knowing what is the definition of this fiscal policy, and we will be knowing as well what are the conflicts and controversies about this matter until present. And we will be trying to give some solutions or recommendations on these problems. Okay, let's start. So the war had varied impact sa Philippine economy. And while Manila, so we all know naman that Manila is the capital of the Philippines. And Manila here was heavily damaged, no? Desperate. And the rest of the country largely unaffected. However, the predominantly or lalo na ang mga agricultural nga economy na ay nagsuffer sila o mga disruption or mga pagkagulo. Okay? And the United States may have declared the Philippines independent, no? Even though the United States declared the Philippines independent. So the country's need for rehabilitation funds created a dependency that could be exploited by a former nga colonial administrators. And by 1949, the economic situation of the Philippines had deteriorated or very problematic, no, to the extent that there was a severe lack of funds for essential sectors like military and education. So despite this, no, no significant efforts were made para i-improve ang tax collection. And the United States ang United States pod advise or recommended adopting a direct taxation. But the President Manuel Rojas, no, during his administration, declined. No, gitanggihan niya. Gitanggihan niya ang proposal because it did not want to alienate its mga kauban sa Congress. No? Avoid alienating ang iyang mga kauban sa Congress. And after this, the drive or ang pagdali bitaw, no? Or the impetus or ang drive or ang pagdali sa economic growth no, naka-gain ni siya og momentum under the time of President Elpidio Quirino nga nag-implement siya og import and exchange controls. So ang kanila nga mga measures, no, it facilitated import substitution development, contributing to economic progress or economic growth. So this policy allowed for no allowed no kaninga policy allowed or fostered the growth of manufacturing sectors para ma-reduce or reducing the Philippines economic reliance on imports or kanang bitong pagbawas sa pangangailangan ng Pilipinas sa mga produkto sa mga dayuhan. New taxes were also measures, no? And including here is the higher corporate tax rates were enacted during the administration of uh, Quirino. And this measure no, boosted or ni-increase the government revenues. Makita sa government ni-increase. With the tax revenue in 1953, no, ni-increase twofold or doble compared sa year 1948. Next. So despite promises no to study and reform the tax structure, so post-war fiscal policy remained regressive during the presidencies of Magsaysay, Garcia, and Macapagal. So the lowest classes um the lowest classes no bore the brunt of taxation while ang kaning mga landed elite sa Kongreso who held a significant in business interests ensured that taxes were not levied on the higher classes of the society. Then, ang panahon ng Republika pagkatapos ng digmaan nagpapakita no ng pagtaas sa korupsyon. Ano siya? And from 1958 to 1968, ang Congress failed to pass any significant tax legislation despite notable changes in the economy. And ang mga Filipino businessman sa Congress, motivated by their own interests, they are motivated by their own interests and often rejected proposals for taxes on imports and other measures that could impact sa ilahang business. And indirect taxation continued to account for 3/4 of tax revenues, highlighting the reliance of kaninga method. And the omnibus tax law of 1969, no, did not substantially increase the proportion of income tax generating tax revenue. Here, the tax collection no remained poor gihapon or remained inadequate. No, reflecting nga mga ongoing issues with the tax structure, very problematic. And corruption as well. Mo ni ang significant portion sa public funds, no, ang corruption, the significant portion of public funds, rendering the governments incapable of financing development project. Ano siya. And under kang Marcos nga authoritarian regime, ang tax system diri continued to be regressive. So even in the latter part of the Marcos year, sa last part sa presidency of administration ni Marcos, year 1891 to 1985, ang tax system relied lang jud siya, no? Nag-relied lang jud siya or dependent heavily sa direct taxes comprising of 70% total of tax collection. And the tax system also showed a little responsiveness. So despite taxes growing, no, taxes, no, despite taxes growing at an average annual rate of 15%, they yielded a low tax returns. And tax efforts or tax effort defined as the ratio of actual tax collection to gross domestic products and predictable taxable capacity remained low at 10.7%. Grabe yung mga percentage diri ang topic, no? And here, after kang Marcos, si Corazon Dayon Aquino, no? Corazon Aquino's administration implemented the 1986 tax reform program nga mo ni ang pag-ayos sa tax system sa Pilipinas. So the objectives were to enhance, no? To enhance responsiveness, i-ensure ang equitable nga taxation, no? Promote equity by ensuring the equitable taxation. Next is stimulate growth by eliminating disincentives, no? Eliminating disincentives and para po ma-streamline ang tax administration to foster compliance or to foster tax compliance. So under Aquino's administrations, a significant reform in the tax system was introduced, the value-added tax, no, featuring a uniform rate of 10% on the sale of domestic and imported goods and services, and with 0% on export and foreign currency dominated sales. And 10% of VAT in lieu of various fixed taxes, no? Replacing 60 nominal rates such as advance, advance, ano yun? Advance sale tax, na diri na advance sale tax, na diri advance sales tax, excise, na po to diri excise on excise tax on solvents. Saan pa na siya? And a 2% tax on entities with annual sales on receipts of less than 5,200,000 pesos. Here is the adoption of tax credit method of calculating tax by subtracting tax on inputs, tax on gross sales, exemption of basic commodities like agriculture and marine food products. Mo ni siya, no? The price regulated petroleum products and kanang mga fertilizer. And lastly, an additional 20% of tax on maning mga non-essential articles such as jewelry, perfumes, and yacht, and etc. Other vessels for pleasure and sports. Next is the VAT law, no, signed in 1986, enacted in 1988. So initially, this law served as a dependable revenue source for the government. And however, its reliability, no, ang iyang reliability diminish or reduce over time due to the proliferation of legislated exemption through sa katong um, new tax law. And concurrent with tax reform, no, or along with the tax reform, na ay mga administrative reforms or mga administrative changes, including here the restructuring of the Department of Finance and its attached agency, the Bureau of Internal Revenue, as outlined in Executive Order 127. So during the Aquinos administration, no, the tax collection and audits were enhanced. Siya. During the Aquinos administration, ang tax collection and audits were enhanced. So corruption was reduced, no? And computerization was introduced, and boosting trust in the BIR. And these efforts, no, led to a significant increase of tax and revenue effort, rising from 10% in year 1985, nitaas siya, nahimo siyang 15.40% in 1992. So greater political stability during administration of Fidel Ramos, no. So the Fidel Ramos administration in 1992 saw a greater political stability and facilitating ongoing economic growth. So the Ramos administration outlines the objectives of the comprehensive tax reform program initiated during sa iyang administration in 1997. So naata din hiya, no? Broad-based, simple, and with reasonable tax. So the aim here was to create a tax system that applies fairly uh, to a broad range of taxpayers, simplifying nga ang tax code to make it easier nga masabtan and para ma-comply nila. And additionally, the government sought to establish tax rates that were perceived as reasonable and not excessively burden sa mga tax payers. Next here is to minimize tax avoidance, no? Existing tax system likely had na mga loopholes, no, na mga mistakes and flows that allowed individuals or corporations to avoid paying sa ilahang share of taxes. No? By addressing nga kani nga mga issues, ang government during ani nga time no nag-aim sila nga i-minimize ang tax avoidance. Mao na siya para ma-ensure ang tanan nga nag-contribute due to their tax payment. Here is the encouraged payments by increasing tax exemption levels, lowering the higher tax rates, and simplifying procedures. So, the objective here is to involve increasing tax exemption levels, lowering the higher tax rates, and simplifying procedures. So, by doing so, the government intended to incentivize sa katong mga compliance with tax obligation and make it more attractive sa mga taxpayers to fulfill their tax duties. And here is the rationalized of tax incentives. So tax incentives are these are often granted sa certain industries or businesses para mag-stimulate of economic growth or even investment. No? However, it is not properly managed because these incentives can result in significant revenues losses na siya sa gobyerno. So, overall, no, ang kaning comprehensive tax reform program, no, nag-aim dyan ni siya para maka-create og fair and more efficient and para na ay transparent sa tax system sa Pilipinas and para ma-address po itong mga issues like tax evasion, complexity, and katong effectiveness of tax incentives. So, in 1997, the value added tax, no? Hindi na siya mo. Wait. So, oops. Again, in 1997, the value added tax in the Philippines underwent significant changes. Na siya yung mga significant changes na nahitabo, no? Through Republic Act 7716. So, di na siya musulat ang ako ang pen. Okay, laser point na. So again, so in 1997, no, ang kaning value-added tax law sa Pilipinas underwent several changes through aning Republic Act 7716. So here are the key features of the improved VAT law. Here are some of the features. First is the restoration of VAT exemptions for cooperatives, no? So all types of cooperatives, including agricultural, electric, credit or multi-purpose, and others were exempted sa VAT that provided share capital of each member did not exceeded sa kaning amount, 515,000 pesos. Next is expanded or the expansion of definition of simple processes. So the definition of kaning simple processes no was broadened para i-include ang broiling and roasting. So this change effectively nag-narrowed ni siya sa tax base sa mga food products. And these processes were now considered exempt sa VAT. Here is the expansion of the definition of original state. No? So the term original state was expanded to include molasses. Ang kanipod niya expansion likely affected the taxation products derived sa molasses. Here are the exemption from VAT. No? Several categories were exempted from VAT under the updated law. The importation of meat, sale or importation of coal and natural gas in any form or state, the educational services provided by private educational institution accredited by the Commission on Higher Education or CHED, house and lot, and as well as other residential dwellings, no, apil din valued 51 million and below, and this value was subject to adjustment using the CPI or the Consumer Price Index. Next is list of residential units with a, a monthly rental per unit not exceeding 58,000 pesos. So similar to the exemption for residential properties. So this value uh, was subject to adjustment using the CPI. And sale, ang importation, printing, or publication of books and newspaper. So, ang kanina changes, no, nag-aim ni siya to refine and update the VAT system in the Philippines, addressing various nga mga sectors and economic activities while ensuring fairness and efficiency in tax administration. Here is the President Joseph Estrada's term, no, in 1998 was indeed a shortcut lang din siya, no? Or yes, short cut, and did not allow for significant changes in the tax system. So following his ousting, no, nga si Vice President si Gloria Macapagal Arroyo ni assumed power amid another It's a People Power revolution. And during her presidency, no, Arroyo focused on increasing government spending without uh, corresponding adjustment in tax collection. So this approach, no, led to a significant deficit from year 2002 to 2004. Next is the government. So in response to the fiscal challenges na na-face sa governo, no? So Republic Act 9337, or also known as the Expanded Value Added Tax or EVAT law, was enacted in year 2005. So ang kaninga legislation, nag-aim ni siya sa government revenue by expanding the VAT, no? And adjusting the tax rate. So here are the changes introduced by uh, RA 9337. First is the expansion of VAT base. So, mo ni siya ang subjecting additional goods and services to VAT. And this expansion po, no, meant that this previously exempt items were now subject to VAT, contributing increased government revenue. So, mo ni sila ang mga energy products such as coal, and petroleum products and electricity generation, transmission, and distribution were now included sa VAT coverage. So select professional services were also taxed, no? Taxation of select professional services. No, there are certain professional services were also subject to VAT under sa kaning 9337 nga act, no? So this move aimed to diversify the sources of VAT revenue and capture economic activities that were previously untaxed. So na-increase ang tax rate, no? In February 2006, raised from 10% to 12%. So ang kanina pag-increase in the tax rate further augmented government revenue uh, sa VAT. So therefore, ang kaning implementation sa Republic Act 9337, no, nag-represent ni siya og shift from in the Philippine tax system, no, nga nag-aim siya para ma-address ang mga fiscal deficits and para ma-ensure ang sustainable government finances. Next is So as President Benigno Aquino III, no, succeeded President Arroyo in 2010, no, upon assuming office in 2010, nag-pledge siya na to introduce new taxes but instead focus on adjusting or existing taxes to generate additional revenue for government. So, one significant tax reform initiative undertaken during sa iyahang administration no is ang kaning uh, syntax reform. Later ato na siyang ma-discuss what is syntax reform. Ay nara, syntax reform which targeted excise taxes on mga ilimnunon or kanang mga and mga cigarettes. So the motivation behind this reform, well, encompassing the fiscal, the public health, the social order related sa kaning considerations. Republic Act 10351 or gitawag nato ni siya nga Syntax Reform Act of 2012 was a very important ni siya nga piece of legislation no nga nag-aim siya nga para i-restrict ang mga excise taxes sa alcohol and tobacco products sa Pilipinas. So ang kani nga law pod mo na siya ang pag notable changes no or a notable increase in government revenues derived from alcohol and tobacco excise taxes. And the increased revenue collection from tobacco and alcohol excise taxes, nag-play po ni siya og role po no sa overall fiscal landscape sa Pilipinas. So in 2015, this collection accounted for approximately of 1.1% na GPD or gross domestic product. And kani po nag-indicate ni siya the substantial contribution sa syntaxes sa government's revenue base and underscores their importance in supporting sa mga public finances. Here, next is Syntax Reform Act of 2012, no? Wala lang ni siya nag-generate additional revenue sa government, but also demonstrated how tax reform could significantly impact social services, particularly sa healthcare sector. So one of the key beneficiaries of the increased revenue, no, is ang kaning DOH or Department of Health. So, na-tripled ni siya in 2015, illustrate the substantial impact of syntax reform on healthcare nga mga funding. So, the increase ani nga revenue, no, it enabled government na i-subsidize ang health insurance premium sa mga poor and para ma-ensure that more individuals had access to essential health care services without financial barriers. Mana siya. And the raise in the amount of people enrolled sa PhilHealth no from 52.2 million in 2012 to 515.4 million sa 2015. How much more karon nga 2024 na ta, no? So that reflects the significant expansion of health insurance coverage made possible sa syntax reform. So during the presidency or the administration of President Rodrigo Duterte came into office with a promise of tax reform. So particularly no focusing on income taxes. One of the main pledges no gibaw ni or pledges was to alleviate the burden of high income taxes or high income tax rates faced by the working Filipinos. So at that time no the Philippines had one of the highest income tax rate in Southeast Asia. Trivia na siya. And the existing law were considered po daw as outdated having drafted 2 decades prior. No? Outdated and existing law, yes, tama. Ang existing law were considered outdated. So, mo to siya. Wait lang. So, mo to siya, no? The call for income tax reform aim to address mga several key issues. First, napadi ay katong high tax rate, no? Naato diri high tax rate and outdated na mga law. So in addition to addressing income tax rates, no, the proposed tax reform under President Rodrigo Duterte pa ni siyang administration also includes measure to uh, limit value or limit value added tax, ano yung VAT, no? Exemption and increased excise taxes on mga petroleum products and automobiles. So here, limiting VAT exemption, no? Naapo ni Dri, limiting VAT exemption can create disparities in the tax system and ma-reduce ang revenue streams for sa government. And increasing excise, no? Increasing excise taxes on petroleum and uh, automobiles. So overall, no, the proposal or the proposed tax reform are intended to modernize tax system and generate additional revenue. Yes, tama. Generate additional revenues for the government and para to support a to support or promote economic development nga mag-benefits sa tanan segment sa society, including the lowest income classes by addressing the inefficiency in the tax system, broadening the tax base, and implementing targeted measures to promote sustainability. The hope is to achieve more inclusive economic growth that left the standards living for all Filipinos. So that ends our discussion. Thank you so much, everyone. And I hope that you learned something new with this video presentation. Thank you and have a great day.